Okay, Jamie is here. I'm still working on the Facebook, but we can go ahead and start homeowner comment. If there's any homeowner who would like to make a comment.
Hi, this is Jim Swartz. I have a couple of comments I'd like to make.
Hello, Jim. Thank you.
Hi. First comment, and I don't know if this goes in the meeting minutes. I hope it does, but first comment has to do with the recent, or it's not recent, but the landscaping requirements for lawns. I'd like the board to consider looking at some low water use cost or low water savings options, or excuse me, low water use options, to consider having dormant lawns and that. I mean, I think as we continue on forward that we're going to see less water availability. And I think having a dormant lawn, as long as it's kept neat, weed-free, and that is something that the board should consider, so that you're not constantly watering the lawn. I just think it's a good conservation and to be better stewards of the environment in this area. My second comment is about the community Facebook page that I administer and moderate. I know that it's not, hasn't been conceived, or at least most people understand that it was never intended to be an homeowners association page, that it is a community page that's meant to be inclusive of all residents in the area, and was intended to include the Freestone Edition, which was initially intended to be part of Cantergrove. There have been some misunderstandings recently, and I just want to make that clear, and hopefully that makes it into the meeting minutes, that is a community webpage meant to build community, and it includes the Cantergrove at Long Lake, the original 135 or whatever number of homes it was, as well as I've had discussions with some adjacent neighbors in that lake area. And I have let them know, the idea is that community webpage, if there's vandalism going on or issues that, the entire community should be aware of, it's really meant to build community and relationships within our neighborhood. So, and that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Jim, for your comments. Is there anyone else?
This is Kat Malik. I just want to bring up, I know I brought this up before, and I feel there's a lot of homeowner frustration in regards to the parking strips. I know on our streets, and again, I keep on bringing this up on 20th Avenue, on the even side of 20th Avenue, that it has maybe run 3 times in 2.5 years, 2 of which were this year. The evens, or the odd side of the street, they have ran 2 times in the last week, and you can definitely tell that they must be running at all different times, because they're early morning, it's in the middle of the day, smack dab in the highest of heat, and there it's green on that side. You walk around our development and you can definitely see where there's no water, including now the trees are starting to, the ones that are supposed to be robust that can handle quite a bit are starting to look frail and dying down, where dead leaves are coming off them in July. So I just don't understand. And when calling and speaking to the management company, you get a whole bunch of reasons and excuses, and I understand it's being looked into, but I don't understand why this can't get figured out, why it can't get on an actual plan where it's consistent watering, whether that be certain times of the day, early morning or what have you, definitely not in the middle of the afternoon, but having things go being watered all day long, that's just not something I want to see to end up paying for, or having my dues increase because our water bill is outrageous. So that is all I wanted to bring up. Thank you.
Thank you, Kat. Is there anyone else?
Hi, this is
Rob Fleck. I'd like to, go ahead.
Sorry, Rob. This is Cindy Larson.
Okay.
I just had a conversation with Debbie Blunk on Facebook that all of you can see, where she was just with the same thing that Kat was talking about, that she was actually out watering her strip and asked the landscapers why they weren't weeding. And they told her, we're just here to mow the grass. So, you know, with that mentality, I don't know if they're not being told what they're supposed to do, but I think the frustration is really high at this point, especially with homeowners that are being told that they have weeds, but they're looking across at the habitat and it's completely inundated with weeds. And so we're supposed to do our part, which I would say most everyone is, but the stuff that's supposed to be taken care of by the landscaping company is not. So the frustration level, from what I've heard from a lot of people, is very, very high. And I think it needs to be taken seriously and possibly looking at another landscape company. This has gone round and around for several months. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Rob, were you next?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring something up, and I know this is another, one of those elephant in the rooms for some people. I want to know when we can expect to see some kind of resolution with the park security, because I bought my home 2 years and a month ago. So June of 2019, I've been a resident. I was told in the sales office when I bought a home that they were going to privatize the park, that we would have peace of mind, there wouldn't be outsiders utilizing it. Then we had to wait until the HOA got turned over. Okay, great. We did our time. Everybody came together. Last summer we dealt with it. Now the HOA has been in run since, if I'm not mistaken, back in March. When are we going to start to see something happen with this? I don't know where we're at in the process, but I think that it needs to be brought to light, and I think everybody should be well aware of what the situation is and why we haven't acted on it yet. I know everybody is, polarized on this topic, but to be perfectly honest, every single one of us can agree that when we bought a home at Cantergrove at Long Lake, it was on the advertisement that there was going to be a private community park. If I wanted a community park that was going to be utilized by people that my next door neighbor happened to say that he had coworkers that live in North Tacoma that were talking about our park as the only good, clean park left for them to go do what they want to do, hidden out of eyes, I don't want that. I don't need people from North Tacoma or further coming and using our private park where my kids want to walk to privately. And my kids want to go there and play and know that they're around neighbors, not some stranger that lives 30 miles away that we have no idea about. So I'm sorry if that comes off a little too abrasive, but I just really would like to get some answers. But thank you for hearing me out.
Thank you, Rob. Anybody else?
Yes.
Go ahead.
This is Tabor Good.
It's really hard to do this.
I just wanted to note that, I've contacted you, Margaret, about my email and me and Mark's email, not getting the Zoom information. I've contacted the management trust, resent both of our emails. I am continuing not to get emails. So if you could try to push a little bit harder on your end or see what you can do to reach out, and because we've both forwarded emails and, trying to get this link, I had to get it forwarded from another homeowner. So I was able to attend. So if you could kind of push on that, or somebody could, I would appreciate it, because I don't understand. There's several of us that have commented to me that they're also still not receiving it. And I can't always attend, but when I attend, I would like to not have to go searching for the link. Thank you.
Okay. Try it.
Thank you, Camber.
Can you?
Gloria, your turn.
Okay.
Yes.
Ted wants to talk.
I want to point out that if people want to let their lawn burn up and you give us permission to do that, that's their business, it's their yard. But I think people need to be aware that trees need to be watered. You can't just not water the lawn, because the trees will die. And I think the one person earlier mentioned that the trees are under stress. I'm looking at a tree down on the corner from my window, and on top the leaves are going dormant, they're falling off. So even if people choose not to water their lawn, you still want to water your shrubs and your trees. Lawn sort of will recover sometimes, but trees don't often recover when you just let them die out. That's my comment.
Thank you very much.
Margaret, I have a comment. My name is Jennifer
Yes.
Hunter. So a few things here. One thing I might recommend is for on the website and the portal to be utilizing the calendar. There are no events listed on the calendar, including the monthly board meetings. And I would maybe recommend also getting an agenda placed on that website or an available agenda on the portal for these meetings so that the homeowners would be able to refer to that agenda and be prepared as well for these meetings. And then going into the grass, the landscaping, the contract, and the weeds. I would also recommend for the landscapers, I'm not sure, again, we don't have access to the contract. If the homeowners had access to this contract, I think that would be definitely an eye-opener to what's not happening in this community. But there are a lot of sprinklers that may be misdirected, that may not be, I see some that are watering streets, and that is a waste of water. So when Jim is talking about wasting water and not being conservative for the state of Washington, that's definitely something that we can look at. And then I also want to share an experience on Sunday the 11th.
Excuse me.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, we have two people speaking at once. Right now, Jennifer is speaking.
I'm sorry. Oh, are we good?
I'm sorry, we got feedback. Jennifer, you're...
Hello?
Go ahead, Jennifer.
Okay, thank you. Just an experience that I want to share and kind of make aware to the board's attention. On the 11th, on Sunday, I was watching my children down at the park from my home. I can see the lake. I can see full access to the park and what's going on. So I was outside watching my children, noticed that a car was parked at the park, and that car had been parked there, probably been out there about an hour and 15 minutes before I made the call, because I think Margaret was the one that directed us as homeowners to contact Nisqually, and it's on the signs as well. So I made the call to Nisqually that the car was parked there. And when I called and I talked to Tony, the first words that came out of his mouth were that they are not our parking meter and they are not our parking attendees, that they don't manage parking in our park. And when I told him that I'm a homeowner and I was told to call him for any instances where there are cars parked, he said, you guys need to go down there and talk to these individuals and see who owns these cars. And as a homeowner and as, I'm sorry, a female, I don't personally feel comfortable going down to these individuals and confronting these individuals. I'm very nervous and I don't feel comfortable approaching them. So I felt confident that I could call Nisqually and have what needed to be done. When Nisqually looked up the contract, he recognized names that were on the contract, but there are no phone numbers that he was able to contact as a point of contact to sign for the vehicle to be towed. And what he told me was because I was Eric's wife and his spouse, and he was a board member, that he would grant me permission to sign for that vehicle being towed. I don't think that's illegal, or I don't think that's legal. I don't know what the contract states, but when I told him that I would talk to the board, telling them that Nisqually is not our parking monitor service, he changed his demeanor completely. He said, oh no, we're going to have someone come out there. I'll have someone come out there immediately, but you guys have to get this park gated. And unless you guys get this park gated and secure, you guys are going to keep having these problems. So for Nisqually to understand that we're also having problems in our park and an outside resource, I mean, that I think says a lot and kind of broadens the outlook as far as what and the severity of what's happening to this park. So going forward, the tow truck arrived, and when the tow truck arrived, he parked his tow truck and the owner came running, and the owner said that he, as an owner, he lived in the neighborhood. I've never seen this owner. I don't know who he was. And also stated that he had no clue on what was going on with the park, that he couldn't park at the park, that he as a homeowner, he's lived here for 2 years, and that he pays his dues to park at the park. So it just became a very big issue when it didn't need to be. So I just feel like as a homeowner, I think there needs to be just a better plan, I guess, with Nisqually. The driver of Nisqually also made a comment that he is surprised that we're not using South Sound towing and that we're even using Nisqually. Also stated that we don't have enough signs and that our signs are very generic and that it does not state that they have to tow the vehicle. And he said, unless we have a sign stating that we are 100% going to tow vehicles 24 hours of the day, and that sign is posted at the beginning of the park, that they do not need to tow the vehicles and that those vehicles don't need to be towed. So there's no service fee that's being charged to these vehicles being parked at the park. And there's also no towing happening either. They've been to the park several times, and they talk more than they actually I guess make action, and they actually want to tow. It just doesn't feel like they want to do what their job is intended or what the contract is intended for. So I just wanted to kind of share that experience, share that story, but I appreciate you hearing me out on that long-winded statement.
Got a hand from Serena Davis.
Thank you. So I've listened to the last few homeowners, and I've lived here since October. It'll be 3 years, and all of the same things that they raised today have been raised repeatedly since I've lived here, and nothing ever gets done. As it relates to the sprinklers, it's been an ongoing issue. Every time I've been in person in these homeowner meetings in this platform, yet it doesn't get addressed. And I guess I missed the first part. Are we saying that the grass does not need to be watered any longer for the homeowners? That's an option, that people don't have to water their grass?
Is that a question for the board?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was a suggestion by a homeowner that be considered by the board for water conservation. It has not made a change to any policy.
Okay, and so when are we going to talk about the things that you posted about, like having hot tubs and so forth, getting approval? Because I've lived here, like I said, for 3 years, and when I purchased my home, I spoke to Jack, who sold me my home. I've had a hot tub in my home since then. I've done the things that I've done to my home based on my communication with him when I purchased my home. And you guys are putting out a bunch of information that implies that you're going to dictate and or direct how I live in my house, which that's what I really want to discuss. So when you get to the things that you itemized and list, I will probably respond in kind.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I had some feedback issues that I had to resolve. Thank you, Serena, for your comment. Is there anyone else?